Well, you hear the music, it's the fresh air, you watch other people working out.
Fresh air. What fucking gym do you go to?
Well, it's
I want to
kinda-
go to this gym. I go to the YMCA, it smells like asshole.
No,
and
mine-
fucking your gym's not any time's not any better than that
No.
with the funk.
Yeah.
It's got the funk of 40,000 years of that fucking
Oh, yeah.
place.
Oh my, oh my.
Dingle dangle.
Welcome to Motherfunkler. Greetings to all of our fellow Funklers out there. We love you guys. Please hit like and subscribe. Send us questions, comments, requests. I'm ready to rock and roll, fellas.
Hell yeah.
I missed you guys. It's been too long.
It's good, man. When we were doing Tuesdays, I forgot how it is to broadcast hungover, and now I remember. It's
Tell me about your rating system again.
I'm a 7 today, 7 out of 10. 10 means like I'm going to go to the hospital, and I'd say it's wavering. It's a little better now. With the shot of Jaeger helped.
How often have you had a 10? Can you count? Or
The day after Thanksgiving a couple years ago was a 10. Linda remembers that bad boy.
What was your intake?
To be honest, I think it was also not just a hangover, but like a mild food poisoning from the Hideaway. I had the hot Marino sandwich. Oh God,
Never heard of it.
it's gross. And the next day I had Thanksgiving at the house, and I just kept trying to get out of bed and just puking and going back down. It was a rough day.
Wait, so Hideaway was day before Thanksgiving, or Hideaway was day of?
So the night before
So
Thanksgiving,
you were fucked up
I hosted
on
trivia.
You were
and-
fucked up on Thanksgiving.
Yes, bad, real
Okay.
bad. Because it was the Wednesday night before I had trivia, and then we went out after trivia, and I was a younger man then, but it was still not good. Still not good. So that's where I'm at. Where are you at, brother? You look like you're fucking spacing out, man. What's going down?
Yeah, epic evening. Really don't know how or if I want to describe, but
Fair.
yeah, went to the stratosphere and back. A lot of downloads. Had a good time.
Very cool.
Thought a lot about relationships through my experience. So when I do the retreats, when I participate, I think about every single relationship I'm involved in, and if I'm doing the best, if I need to change anything, and then I go into a creative space of, I believe that we're here in this existence to create, and if you're not creating is where depression and things come in. So I like to utilize the retreat space to generate new momentum, and I have some ideas, not ready to reveal.
So, I mean, it's interesting you say if you don't create, you become depressed. I'm not an extremely creative guy, and there's not much I'm creating. But what I find is you got to have something to be excited about.
Yeah.
That's kind of when you run out of things to be excited about, that's when it creeps in.
Yeah.
I think it's stasis. I think depression and misery is, as you guys know, in my opinion, that's the undercurrent of being, and that we're always fighting to stay above it. Is my idea of it. How do you feel, PR? What have you been up to? What makes you tick?
Well, I must say that it's been a week since I've seen you guys, and I think that the reason why we haven't seen each other is because we have got Trevor who's not drinking.
That's the reason why.
and that's
You have to do a shot now
and-
because you brought up me not drinking again.
and the result of
Everybody.
Trevor not drinking means that my social life is kind of almost zero.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and had drinks on Park Avenue on Friday though.
By yourself?
No, with my wife.
Oh, okay.
And
Who doesn't drink?
pretty disgraceful. I managed to tempt her to drink though.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
She's
a great influence you are on this woman.
No. She enjoys
And mankind.
a good glass
there
of
you go.
wine. But I must say that the fact that I haven't been drinking with any sort of vigor has resulted in me kind of being pretty not able to drive after 2 glasses of wine, which never happened before.
Yeah.
It's really incredible how quickly you can lose your ability to handle alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't drink for a month.
Mm-hmm.
When you started drinking again, do you find?
No, I mean, I used to. I think I'm beyond that threshold now. Like, it's just...
So just like getting on a
but
bicycle?
really, I have to... Yeah, it's just like getting on a bicycle.
I think it's psychological over physiology.
100%.
So, like, you think that you can't do it, but it's because I'm trying to think. I heard somebody lately say if you do everything drunk, you get used to it and you're really good at it.
Well,
I mean,
was
I have a
kind
good
of,
example of that. When you're in high school and like somebody hands you fucking rolled up and it's, oregano or some shit and you think it's weed, you smoke it and you're like, dude, I'm so fucking, whoa, look at the colors and and everybody's laughing at you because you're fucking not smoking anything.
Yeah.
Like that is, I think mentality has a lot to do
Well,
with
I think it's maybe because you're right. You're probably right. Is that after 2 glasses, I was finding, I'm kind of almost like my head's buzzing. There's a bit of a buzz, and I haven't had that for a while. It didn't stop me though. I still,
I mean, you can always come on Wednesday night, 7 to 9 at the one and only Fiddler's Green for trivia and some shots. Yeah. There was a lot of shots on Wednesday. Yeah. So I could tell you that.
But we'll chat about that.
What was Thursday hangover number?
0. Thursday was fine. I played by the rules on Wednesday. As long as I play by the rules. Yeah.
What's the
Chick-fil-A, Jaeger bombs only, and 0 Guinness 0. If I stick to that, I think I did 9 or 10 Jaeger bombs, and I was up and at the gym at fucking 5:30 in the morning. But last night did not stick to the schedule, did not play by the rules, and I'm fucking paying for it.
Absolutely, as you should.
I did old fashions. I did.
Where'd you go again?
So it was a great night. We went to SoCo for dinner, and then we went to which is in Thornton. Hadn't been there in a while. It was very good. Then we went to the Don't Tell comedy show, which this time was at the Stardust, which I hadn't been to Stardust in a while.
Stardust
downtown
book. Oh, so
yeah.
the okay.
It's called the Dust, right below the Tiger Fucker place. Yeah, and it was wild being back at Stardust. I remember my younger days. Stardust was a cougar bar, like big time. You know what I'm talking about, PR? You'd go there when we were in late 20s, and like women who are my age now, early 40s, would like buy you drinks and stuff like that. So we'd always hit that first to get, a good buzz for free and then go rage. But it was, a good time, but definitely did not eat Chick-fil-A before as I should have. Did not eat enough food at SoCo and drank old fashions all night, which will do me in.
What's SoCo's cuisine?
It's like Southern. It's SoCo is like Southern California, I think.
California, man.
But it's like that sounded like a drop. That was so good. That audio right there. We should isolate that and use that as a drop anytime anybody talks about California.
I'm replicating the Saturday Night Live sketch, which is one of the Californians.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good. It was like they have these excellent what they call chicken and dumplings. It's like lobster with chicken on top, gravy, edamame beans. Their biscuits are really good, like that kind of thing. Southern
biscuits.
Comfort. Maybe that's what SoCo is, Southern Comfort. Because it doesn't seem very California to me. It's like Southern food, but not, thick. So.
Not girthy?
Not girthy. Not full of girth. So, but I mean, I just went off on that whole tangent because when you're talking about your evening and going through thinking about your relationships and friendships and such, I find that the lack of something to look forward to is what always kind of gets me into depression starts to creep in. But, that's just my opinion.
I think it's a piece of the pie. I asked somebody during my experience, what do they do for an adrenaline rush? And I think that whatever that looks like, I think alluding to your point of your perspective on this is you have to get some sort of adrenaline rush or you wither and die. So creation, I get, a chemical dump off of creating. Somebody could go for a run and that creates that drive.
Well, when you say adrenaline, you just mean a chemical dump, not necessarily the chemical adrenaline. You mean like a dopamine. Or
I think adrenaline.
It has to be adrenaline.
No. It could be.
I was gonna say, what do you think this fucking guy's doing for you? You an adrenaline junkie, PR? What do you do to get fired up?
I'm not adrenaline, not necessarily, because adrenaline kind of reminds me of like almost like a fright or flight kind of
fight
rush.
or flight.
Yeah,
fright is not.
Fright.
One of them.
Yeah, fright as well gives you that.
I guess it could be fight, flight, or fright if you just go into a fucking ball.
Yeah, that's kind of the sudden shock. But, for me, it's more, I wouldn't say it's adrenaline. I'd say it's more, I need dopamine every day.
Yeah.
And, so that's kind of the routine of the workout that gives me that kind of feel-good drug.
You know what that just reminded me of? This may be a little bit oversharing, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
When I'm hungover, it's like a dopamine and I've discussed this with you in the past, Trevor. The way I work is when I'm hungover, it's like a dopamine, like I have a lack of it.
Yeah.
So I'm like horny all fucking day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel nauseous and not really wanting to have sex. But also it's
because it's an easy way to fill that
dopamine
void.
kick. Yeah. And it's fucking wild. I always can tell how badly I'm hungover based on that. So yeah. That's why I have this covering up my, I'm not sitting here just rock hard the whole show.
Well, on that note,
I'm joking, see? Yeah. You're looking, PR. I see you.
It's your fault for looking.
Can't see anything.
Your fault for looking. But yeah, so I mean, and people get that dopamine or adrenaline or whatever gets you going through many different ways. I mean, friendships, obviously. I remember I just read an article about the importance of like having your friend. Part of it is like calling. Actually, it wasn't an article. It was Camus. I was reading The Fall, Albert Camus, yesterday, and in it says that part of like having a friendship is when you do something, you call and you tell them. Like the telling is part of what you liked about the experience. So calling your friend and being like, "Yeah, dude, I got Celica," like, and the person that I usually call with that stuff is like the fattest piece of shit on earth. So it's always fun to, rib him a little bit as well. So, but I that's just what came to mind when you were talking about the retrospect you were doing on friendship.
What do you do at the gym that gives you a dump of, other than just working out? Like, what
other than taking a dump?
It's actually when I exert myself. So it's kind of I'm in my zone. So for about an hour when I go to the gym, I'm working out, I'm doing stuff, I run, I do a bit of cardio, I do some weights, and all of that kind of is what generates that feel good drug. No matter what mood I'm in, it actually I actually read something that says that working out in even if you go for a walk, it actually invigorates your brain.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, I see that picture now, and it's like the brain being almost like white in color. Mm-hmm. And then there's certain sections that are become purplish.
Mm-hmm. PET scan.
And it's only because you've actually gone out and you've just gotten some fresh air. You've pushed your heart rate up a little, and you end up feeling good. So no matter what mood I get up in the morning, I need that. It's an easy.
Well, and all the chicks hitting on you at the gym has to fire you up, man. It's got to make you feel good.
So I walk into the gym feeling that I'm not going to do much. Mm-hmm. The minute you go in, it's almost like a dopamine rush the minute you walk in. You hear the music.
You want to impress everybody.
Well, you hear the music. It's the fresh air. You watch other people working out.
Fresh air? What fucking gym do you go to?
Well,
I want to go to this gym. I go to the YMCA. It smells like asshole.
No,
and fucking your gym's not any time not any better than that.
No.
With the funk.
Yeah.
It's got the funk of 40,000 years of that fucking place.
Yeah.
So like, what gym are you at that has fresh air?
I'm at the LA Fitness in Windermere. But yes, the air is fresh.
That explains it.
There you go.
The air is fresh, and everybody's working out and doing what they.
Is Windermere anywhere near where you live?
Yeah, I live there.
Oh, okay. I thought you lived in Nona or some shit.
Champions Gate. That's all close, right?
I've been saying this for like 4 years.
I mean, whatever, man. I know it's far. I know it's really far away.
So that's kind of the rush. But I'm trying to understand the retreat that you went on and the idea of relationships.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see where you're at with that. How it impacts your relationships.
Do you do are you doing like a checklist? You're going through thinking about maybe ways friendships can be stronger, weaker, thinking about.
So
what are you doing?
Difficult to describe my process. Everybody that participates in these has their own unique process. Mine, the way that my brain works, I automatically go into a place of guilt. Not
why would you? So how does it
not
start
anything
that you want to
specific,
go?
but it's like what have I done in the last week or month that I could be better at? And it's very. The experience breaks you down to say, and if you really want to utilize the experience, to break yourself down and then rebuild yourself throughout the rest of the evening.
So the exercise is a reflection.
Yeah.
And reflecting on your past in a critical way, or
a lot of it has to do with ego. That, like all of us, ego keeps you alive, but then there's unhealthy forms of ego. So it's about artistically understanding the balance of when do I actually need to use this, or when did I go overboard and snap at somebody, or how can I be a more not respond to other people's egos.
Very
okay.
nice.
So is the question? What's the question from the retreat? Is it to be critical, or is it to be
Dude,
just
this
reflective?
is not a self-help retreat.
To be,
No, I'm trying to understand why you go into
to be open to the
being critical.
experience,
Okay.
and then the retreat shows you the direction. Your subconscious is showing you the direction that you want to become a better person.
Because when I reflect, I'm very seldom overly critical of myself. When I reflect.
I think as you should be.
So
he said seldom he's overly
I'm,
critical
I'm,
of
I'm not
himself.
really.
I'm the fucking opposite of that. All day, every day, guilt is like one of the fucking north stars of my life.
So that's why I'm trying to understand the question, because if you said to me, reflect on your last week, as Trevor's, I'd be hard pressed to be negative or harshly critical about my week that went by.
all I think about is the negative. I barely pay attention to the positives. Positives are cool and keep rolling, but I'm always focused on what I fucked up.
I do think that I agree that in some ways Trevor is a bit of a perfectionist. So you always kind of say, I've left something on the table. I could have done better at it.
Yeah.
So
I'm always moving the goalpost.
yeah, but so I would end up being critical of myself, knowing that I could have done maybe better. The outcomes could have been better. But have I given everything, and have I given my best? Have I listened well enough? Some of those very basic things. Have I been rude to anyone? Almost very seldom am I being overly nasty, and if I am, I almost I reflect and I try and correct that situation pretty quickly.
Very cool. Through work, through jury consultation, I try to learn as much as I possibly can about EQ and listening to people and trying to respond off of what they're saying. The downside to that is that it's a fucking nightmare out there. Everybody's suffering. Everybody's miserable. It's like, so all you're getting is negative fucking feedback constantly when you talk to somebody.
I mean, that's the challenge, right? Because you putting yourself in a situation that is inherently negative, right? And that's very unfortunate. I try. So, I've mentioned this to Trevor many times. I really try, in order to maintain my kind of positivity, is that I need to surround myself with people that are positive. Okay. So, whereas you now are sitting with people and having to work with people that are inherently negative.
Oh my God.
That's
Jury
a challenge.
selection, that's all you do. So you sit there for an entire day reading and analyzing 40 strangers that are just fucking misery. And you're doing this to a background, by the way, of coughing.
Yeah.
In a room of 40, if you stop and pay attention to how much everybody coughs, it's fucking disgusting. It seems like we're not going to make it as a species. That's all they do is fucking cough the whole day. It's disgusting. So you have all this coughing, and then I'm looking up and I'm like, God, this person's fucking life is terrible. Move on to the next one. God, this person's life is fucking terrible. Why haven't they killed themselves yet? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like coughing is directly related to somebody's current psychological
100%.
disposition.
That's why I mention it.
If you are a negative person, you're going to think about all the ailments in your body, and then that manifests through my back hurts, or
yes. Yeah.
But if you go into a positive
gross.
space, for the most part, your body feels good, and then you're not hacking up shit.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, and I must say that because I am blessed to choose the environment I operate in, I haven't put myself in your situation, which kind of helps me understand why you can see the world with your perspective. Because I put myself in a situation, if I have a client, for example, that comes in that is in that very unhygienic, doing the stuff that you reference, and I'm not comfortable, I'll ask somebody else in the office to take care of it.
Dude, PR, you have created a life that has very little strife coming your way during the day. Like just through our discussions that we've had on this podcast, your wife, your children, your home life, your work life, your friends, you have created for yourself a nice, safe bubble where I would guess not a lot of negative shit comes into it.
So that is by design, right? I think that I do have opportunities to associate myself with people that would not, that are different from those that I've selected, right? But I have selected them, and it is people that I enjoy being with, and I feel that exude confidence and that are positive, and that helps me get through my day. So
it's interesting you say that.
So positivity.
Why? You feel like you have to get through your day?
Well, no, because what happens is sometimes
all we're all doing.
So the reason that I like chatting with you guys is I think you're overly pessimistic. I think you're overly optimistic, and both are unhealthy.
And when you said pessimistic, you were pointing at me, Nick, and optimistic, you were pointing at PR, as if we have to say that.
And yeah, I think it's understood at this point. But the reason I sit in between you guys, and it's 50-50, no matter what, 50-50. And I think that you're skirting. I think PR is skirting.
Yeah,
the idea, there's a different word other than delusional, but like you should deal with some uncomfortability and some negativity.
That's my point.
Because that's part of life.
You give me so much shit about the pessimistic side of it and how I see the world, but you're just avoiding the fucking misery.
No, but I think you're not ignorant to the fact, but like you're avoiding positivity. That there is I was thinking this morning before coming in here, you are one of the nicest people in the entire world.
Oh.
The things that you have done for me as a friend, it has zero relation to your preachiness about misery. For just as much as you say that I'm a juxtaposition of hippie and hillbilly, however you want to put it. Yeah. I think you're the
hillbilly.
Same.
I never. What's
my
hippie hillbilly?
What's my like?
Yeah, I feel you.
But I think that for as much as you say misery, like you're one of the nicest dudes.
Well, that is what I'm preaching the whole time. I understand and see that life is complete and total misery. That is where I derive pleasure from being trying to be a good guy, trying to be nice, trying my best to make the world a better place, because those little slivers are fucking really all we got. Without that's what I'm talking about, creation. Yeah. And when you create things for other, like you do, create things for other people, you get the dopamine rush. Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, and really what I want is more like to illustrate the point of what I want like just a better existence. Like I feel as though doing stuff like the work I do with Jeff Ritchie in Orlando makes Orlando a little bit cooler, which makes Orlando more fun to hang out in. Like theoretically, I'm making it a better fucking place. An example is like if cars drove themselves, I would be out of business, but I would want fucking a world where I didn't have to drive so bad. I'd be willing to find something else to do with my life. So what I'm saying is I have a vague notion that I just want everything to be better, like cooler, more relaxed, less stress. But when you take a step back and you're not in a fucking bubble like PR is, it's clear that everybody is constantly fucking suffering and in total misery. And the only reason they don't fucking put a bullet in their brain is because of the small moments that they get to enjoy. And that's what I like to do. I like to party.
My outcome or the way I see the world is, yes, everyone's struggling with their issue. Okay? If we individually can just be nice, be kind. Everyone is struggling with their issue. And for example, us sitting around here, right? We're all grappling with our own issues, right? Mm-hmm. The least that we can do for each other is to be civil and be good human beings to each other, right? Because otherwise you highlight the very worst in each of us. And that's the only reason why. So I may be grappling with 100 things right now, right, that none of you know about, okay? But I still want to experience this particular moment and know that it can be an amazing time for me. And that's why I get up every day knowing that the day is going to challenge me with a number of different things. The outcomes may be negative. It may not be the way I would like it to be. But I choose to engage with every one of those challenges in a positive way. And that's the only thing that I'm saying. It's not like I'm going to be completely oblivious to the fact that there's going to be nasty experiences. That, unfortunately, is the world we live in. But I can choose to be kind to everyone that I come into contact with. I would listen to them sincerely. I would empathize with them sincerely, and I think I'm a relatively good listener.
What'd you say?
And as a result of that, I think that's just one simple technique to say, when somebody is speaking with you or to you, just listen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do everything that I just said is the way that I see the world, but I do struggle constantly with the fact that, like, in my job, everybody who does my job is such a fucking piece of shit. Like, lawyers are just the fucking worst on both sides. Like, the ones who work for insurance companies are bad, but I mean, I'm sure the ones I deal with on my side are fucking just as bad. And like, so it's tough because you're dealing with these pieces of shit all day.
The challenge you have is everyone's trying to game each other
at
right?
all times. But everybody's doing that all the time in life. Yeah. Like, you have to have leverage. I am a believer that carry a big stick. Hopefully you won't have to use it.
Yeah.
Like, because you have to have leverage or people will just fucking take advantage of you at every single possible turn.
Yeah.
Whether it's for their own personal gain or out of their own fucking laziness. Whatever it is, you will be taken advantage of every interaction you have with human beings. They're looking to fuck you constantly. Like, it's rare to find somebody who's not. With that being said, though, that doesn't give you license to treat everybody like garbage. And I struggle to try and always think to myself, listen, like, they're being a piece of shit, but they're fucking misery. They're living in misery as well. Like, it's misery all the way across the board. Just understand, be nice. Be the guy who's nice. Yeah. And that's what I try to do. It's not often what happens, but I do try at least to treat people that way.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is exhausting.
Fucking PR's about to fall asleep.
Like, oh my God. Talking about the relationships that I have. So let me tell you about the relationships, right? The ones that I honor and really find most invigorating are my wife and kids, my immediate family, and my friends. So I would say those, that is a very important circle that I value, and one, I mean, you guys
that's
know.
easy. That's easy to treat those people.
Do you ever get in fights, arguments with your wife?
So, I had some time to think about the fighting. She fights a lot with me. I have very strong views on most things, right? So I can say that. We've been married now for 32 years. And the first, I would say, I've never asked this, so I'm giving you my view. It may be longer for her or shorter for her, but I would say the first 5 or 6 years was incredibly challenging because, there was a time when everything that I wanted, there was no need for me to consider another person. So I did everything my way. The only person I kind of told what I was doing with my parents, I was going to do this, and that was the end of that. And it was incredible. So she and I moved in together. The first night together was actually the day we got married. And, all of a sudden.
Wait. What was it? What was
interesting?
That? What was that you just said?
So I said the first night that we ever spent together was the night that we were married. The day that we got married, that day we moved into the apartment that we had.
Oh.
So
it's fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
I think you got to give it a test drive.
Jesus Christ. No
Living
wonder
together.
you had 5 to 6 years of fucking rough
So
stuff.
all of a sudden, I was
I mean,
now
you're talking
sharing.
about, like,
It's fucking bananas.
going from 0 to 100, like not taking shits around each other.
It was challenging.
like being sick. Wow.
Yeah,
Like to
this
go
was
from nothing to all, man.
The first 5 years, I would say maybe even longer, was really challenging when you have that kind of relationship where, you've almost got to consult.
Not living with each
and
other
everything.
and being married there's going to be like surprises. Like there's going to be shit where you're like, oh, I guess this is how we're doing it. Or like fucking that shit is fucking wild to me.
Do you this is for everybody. Do you pass gas around your partner?
No.
Absolutely not.
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely not.
God, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Absolutely not. And in fact, when we were buying,
Linda, do you?
No, come on. This is fucking amateur hour. Give me a fucking break. But no. You wouldn't be sitting.
Never, not even like
my wife would not be. It wouldn't be my wife.
Not even an SBD.
This is not.
You don't.
No. 0.0.
No, but I would agree with you there because then now you're being completely considerate with the person that you have partnered with, right? Not wanting her to feel uncomfortable.
This is not fucking the filth monsters. Like we're not fucking disgusting.
I agree with you.
Clean human beings.
It's a natural movement,
dude.
Yeah, but you can excuse yourself.
You know, if you don't fart when you need to fart, it actually goes back up in your system and you burp it out later.
Oh, wow. I don't think that's accurate, but
it absolutely is.
So it goes back. So what you're saying is that gas then traverses up your colon, your small intestine, large intestine, to your stomach, up your esophagus.
I will send you a video on this.
Jesus Christ. I don't know that that's accurate.
Do you, if you have to fart, do you, like if you really have to, do you go to a different room or do you just suck it up and hold it around?
I'm always moving around. In my stomach, I'm a 43-year-old fucking heavy drinker. Like my stomach is not great, so I'm always on the move. Like, and a big selling point, the house we got has not only 3 bathrooms in the main house, it has a fucking house in the back that's completely separate from the house.
I mean, that's a long way to go fart.
That's for more than just farting. That's for when like we're talking a scenario. Like when we're talking about I'm gonna be screaming, sweating.
Linda, I'll be away for the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go lift some dumbbells in the back house for a little while.
Here's a quick fact check according to ChatGPT.
Love it.
When you hold in a fart, the gas does not travel back up.
Bullshit.
Instead, the gas is reabsorbed into your bloodstream through the intestinal walls and eventually expelled out through your lungs when you breathe out.
Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, your burps are not methane, I don't think. Farts are methane. They can be set on fire.
But it still comes out. The residual still comes out your fucking mouth.
You technically exhale parts of it.
Yeah.
Parts of it.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah, well, like I said, it's not. So a fart is pure methane. And that's why you could set them on fire. If you absorb,
Have you ever lit one on fire?
Just fucking Donald Garman used to be really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it done.
Straight butthole or?
No, not straight
through the undies?
Through the fucking jeans.
Oh.
I mean, dude, he is a sick. You
can
know
light your
how
shit on
disgusting
fire.
he is. He's fucking gross.
You know a guy who had to go to the hospital because he did bare butthole and it went up. The flame went up into his insides.
That's a spicy meatball.
Oh, so do you argue about like has your wife ever farted around you? What about accidental farts? Have you ever been like lifting something and you're like
not in the current relationship I'm in? In other relationships there have been, and it changed the dynamic forever.
Yeah, I would say that there's a suspicion that Yates does fart in my vicinity, but I cannot verify that independently.
What about airplanes? Do you openly fart on an airplane like everybody else and just like let it go?
I'll get up and do a little walk.
Yeah. And crop dust somebody else.
Dust. Dude, I am a crop duster for sure. Like there's no question about that. Like just dusting all over the fucking place. I can also hold farts for a very long time.
That's not healthy.
I mean, I'm not a healthy guy. I don't know what you think this is. I'm not fucking Richard Simmons over here.
But with the arguments that my wife and I have had,
Richard Simmons is sweating to the oldies, right?
What do you mean?
There's
was that a
Def
song?
Jam with somebody with Richard Simmons, right? Def Comedy Jam, and then there's Richard Simmons sweating to the oldies. And I think Richard Simmons was the right allegory there.
So with the arguments that my wife and I have had, I believe that we've had a lot more arguments when I was younger. When I had, I think in almost every argument that I've had.
Yeah, as soon as you just gave up on yourself and realized that you're just now, there's no more PR. It's only PR and yegs.
No.
I feel like that's what happens.
What happens, I think, is that I've worked out that almost all arguments that I've had with her and with anyone that is close to me, really, not just my wife, 99% of that argument is my ego. Mm-hmm. I don't really care about the issue that we're arguing. It's really that I want to be right. And so I've decided that unless it's a principle that I need to make very clear on, I'm not going to engage in that discussion. So I actually now have chosen to just withdraw from that discussion. Immediately, I find that this discussion could go into an argument, for example, then I'm going to withdraw from it and she can have it, or my friends can actually have that issue.
I think that's delusional, and I think that it's healthy to argue, to not argue, but like to debate your point so that humans can learn.
So an example.
So that's funny that you say it that way. Like the way I always picture it is two people like you have a disagreement, and if it's a partner, that it should be mutual, like reading the other person to see which person cares more, and then who gives a fuck who's actually right. You like see, and I'm like, I like to think that I'm like, okay, she's really like, this is digging in, this is her issue. And then I'm expecting and do receive the opposite, where it's something that clearly I care about, even if I'm fucking wrong, that it's like, all right, this is his issue, we're just fucking leave this alone. And then you just go through life learning that way. I mean, I know there's a lot of issues that I'm sure Linda has seen from a mile away, like, yeah, he's fucking dead wrong here. But then it goes that way. I'm fucking wrong. We learn I'm wrong, and I'm like, yeah, you were fucking right. I mean, the car, I was really dead set on getting a Chrysler LeBaron, a white Chrysler LeBaron. I was looking for one, and she goes, you know, you're not gonna fuck. I don't know why you're looking at white cars. Like, you're an idiot. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, you want a black car. This Toyota's way more you. Like, and she was absolutely right. And I was so far up my own ass, like I never would have seen it. The house too. Well, I was looking at a house that was way more expensive than the house I have, that needed so much fucking work, but it was on this beautiful lake on the corner over there in next to Fresh Market. And we walk into the house that we're in now, and we're walking around, and nobody's saying, her and the real estate agent aren't like, Nick, this fucking house is 1,000 times better. I'm just like feeling it, and we get outside. I'm like, shit, I'm wrong. All right, like, this is the house, not the one that I've been wanting the whole time. So that's where I see it. Like, I don't think, even if I know I'm right, or if I know I'm wrong, like I'm in this fucking argument, I feel it should just be a back and forth, and you kind of learn and grow together. That's what I'd say. But I mean, you know, that's just because I don't really see arguing getting to a place. Like, trying to prove my point, like trying to lawyer this fucking thing, is never working for me.
So that's the thing, is that with most times when I don't feel strongly about an issue,
I do feel strongly about something right now that I'm going to fight with you on. It's time to take a Jaeger bomb. So fucking.
I'm just telling you that.
Or a Jaeger shot.
Because Trevor knows that I'm the one that least likes Jaeger. I had a quick scan of the little Jaeger bomb glasses, and I think I have the one that's got the most. Fill mine up the most.
I mean, you're King Girth, baby. Yummy.
In all not fairness and unfairness, my eyes are ridiculously cloudy today, and I just kind of went for it. That was unintentional.
That's fine.
See,
so
I'm not going to fight with you about it, man.
No.
I'm cool.
So, we're not going to protest.
No, we're not going to protest.
We're not going to protest.
This is about free trips to the salad bar, in-home cable, free trips to the salad bar. Love it.
So with I give you an example, right? Because it always helps to give an example of when I've chosen not to engage in discourse.
Well, I would like to. That sounds great, and you're obviously putting the positive spin on it. My question is, do you fight? What's the fight like? And then I would like to know how you resolve. So instead of saying that you withdraw, when have you fought? And what do you do about it?
So I would fight, for example, if my wife or any one of my friends, right, attacks another friend, so is critical of another friend in a way that offends me, I would then go in and say, and I would be very clear that I take a different view. I may have done it with those of you sitting around here. If my wife says something that's insulting about my mom or dad, I would immediately go in and say, that's where I draw the line. And I'm prepared to have a full-on discussion, argument, fight, whatever you call it, to make sure that I'm not seen to be conceding or reaffirming the opposite view, right? And those are times when those are principles.
It's very odd to me That what you just said is very odd. I can't put myself in that position. I can't imagine, like, I know my family has fucking terrible shortcomings. I can't imagine anybody ever being like, yeah, your fucking like brother's stupid or some shit. I already know any of that, but I don't know. Are you telling me you're in a space where friends of you have criticized your parents?
No. It wouldn't have been a friend now. It wouldn't have been a friend. So it'll be my wife criticizing my mom as to how she dealt with a particular issue.
Well, I was trying to avoid you having to say that.
No. To be real, this is how that will be, right? None of you know my parents, so you wouldn't be able to make a comment. But you could say something about Trevor that I would disagree with, and I would disagree with it. Or Trevor could say something about you that I would disagree with, and then I would say, and I'm not just giving examples here. So my wife, for example, may say, hey, your mom dealt with this issue in a way, and I would be like, hey, that's where I draw the line. You have no right to make comments about how she deals with issues, and we cut it there. Sometimes she doesn't want me to cut it there. Sometimes she would like to elaborate a little bit, and elaboration is a bad idea when it comes to certain people in my life.
Fair.
So, and I told you who they are. They are my wife. They're my mom and dad. They're my friends, and they're my kids, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's when I would step in and I would make it very clear that I'm not agreeing with the opposite view.
Okay. But I disagree with the parent association, like that you would only do that for your parents. I think it should be applied across the board, even to a perfect stranger. Well, it's not right and wrong because there's obviously a gray area, but for this exploration, right is right, wrong is wrong. And if you see somebody hurt somebody on the street, something should be said or something should be done. And it's not just because they're your parents.
Piggybacking onto that, where I'm having difficulty putting myself in your position is like there's a difference between criticizing like saying something mean about your family or saying I think. Like, if you're all in this together, being like, I think your mother handled that the wrong way. Like, I think that's a totally normal thing.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be as inconsequential. It'll be a discussion that one is having.
I think the difference becomes if they're being fucking hurtful. If they're saying this shit,
and that's what it is.
Not
typically
to cause solution a problem to resolve a problem.
And in my mind, if you want to say something hurtful about somebody, say it in their presence. Not say it in my presence when she is not there to defend herself. So if she is not there to defend herself, then I will defend her.
That's easy to say, but it's fucking delusional.
And I always do it. So if you said something about Ed and if he wasn't there, I would have to defend him because I feel that if he were here, he would defend himself. And so it's kind of the only time I use kind of almost like negative energy, and I hate getting into those kind of discussions because I always walk away feeling horrible. I've never walked away from one of those discussions feeling energized and ready to go and have a Jaeger bomb. No, I always feel awful about
Jaeger bomb.
And those are, I would say that they are very seldom discussions that I would engage in.
So what about you, Trevor? What are your fights look like?
I'm trying to summarize. I feel that I hopefully feel that this is reality, that anytime that I fight, I feel like I'm very open-minded, and I like that every individual can have their own perspective and choices, and I don't want to stand in anybody's way unless it fucks with me. Mm-hmm. When it starts fucking with me is when I'm ready to go to war. And I'm trying to think of good, like a prime, actual concrete example, but struggling. Usually it has something to do, I feel, with me being hindered by somebody else, specifically in our partnership. And I'm not one to be quiet. I will immediately set a boundary and say, like, don't fucking do this, or like, and then that generates an argument where egos blow up. Then it becomes a battle of egos. But I do feel that I have a just root cause to go into an argument. Resolution, more often than not, probably 99% of the time, is both parties understanding that they said their piece and that they know that they're not going to be happy about about the outcome, but at least they got it off their chest. And again, to come full circle, it's about the individual perspectives and what they think is right or wrong, and that's cool that that's different. But we got to over time, and I've come back to this study. I can't remember where I saw it, but it was about ducks. 2 male ducks in a fucking flock.
You know, ducks have penises shaped like corkscrews.
Yeah.
So that you know why?
So they can rape. Yeah.
All duck sex is rape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their penises evolved to be shaped like corkscrews so that they can corkscrew in and rape without. Yeah. I just find that interesting.
A good band name. Duck raping.
Duck rape.
So
all duck sex is rape.
So
It's cumbersome.
two males, like let's say one male is encroaching on another male's area, food, whatever, duck chicks. They get pissed at each other really quickly and flap their wings. They get it out. They move the energy, and then it's over. They go back to doing whatever they're gonna do. And I think that that's a healthy exercise. That however you express it, you're expressing your point of view, and then the real healing comes from being like, well, I'm like, that's how I felt. I'm not going to change the other person's mind. At least they know, and maybe we influence each other in small ways over time.
Very cool.
I think that, with men and women, we both have egos. We probably have equal egos, but we express our egos differently, right? And
I can feel
the,
this being
the unfortunate thing is
how do we express
the
them differently?
Explain the differences.
It's based on our backgrounds. We all come from different homes, and we've all been able to express ourselves in our homes.
But that's not
in a different way.
That is not a distinction between male and female. You said males and females have different. So
I'm saying
that doesn't come from the
I'm
home.
saying males and females. When we are talking here, we are talking about a relationship between a man, between our partners, right, and ourselves. And that's why I'm saying when one is having that kind of argument, you are both having an argument, and a part of that argument is your ego, right? What I am saying when I started off is that we have an equal ego, right? There's a stereotype that suggests that because one speaks louder than the other, one has more ego than the other. No, I would dispute that.
Yeah, fair.
We both have equal egos. We both choose to express our egos differently. So one may internalize their ego a lot more than the other, right? But you're having this awful argument. Sometimes
one may, as in one, like women.
So it could be the man or the woman. Either one of them.
I mean, he started off by saying men and women have completely different. Now he's saying
he's
exactly the same.
generalizing.
No, I say they have different.
I prompted him too early. I should have let him keep walking.
Different ways of expressing their ego, but they have equal egos. So what you may find is because of your background and your personality, you express yourself in an argument in a different way to your partner. Your partner may express it differently. And, based on the way one expresses it, if there's very little empathy in that discussion or in that argument, you may end with a resolution which is not what one would consider to be a compromise or an equal kind of outcome. It may just be one person's view of the world. And I would say that was probably the way 20 or 30 years ago I would kind of achieve most of the outcomes, thinking that I walked away from that.
Blunt force.
Yeah. I've used my executive authority.
When we were all young, I remember being like, I won. There's no fucking winning these arguments on either side.
But now I've realized that I would hate to walk away from one of those arguments feeling that I won, because that's not what I want to. That's not a partnership, and that's not an equal relationship.
And there's no winning.
There's no winning.
Fucking argument. You're in an argument. Everything. It's misery.
Yeah, but no.
So
but in your day-to-day life, those arguments you want to win, right?
You mean talking about work?
In your work.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your
that's
home,
why lawyering it, like I said, doesn't fucking work. Like trying to prove some point, trying to persuade somebody that you're in a partnership with is never going to fucking work, because it's not about trying to fucking win the argument. It's about coexisting through this misery.
And that's why I say that the egos are equal but expressed differently.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, one needs to make sure that you are you've listened to what the other person has to say.
What'd you say?
It's so difficult when one's ego is flying to actually start listening. You just don't listen. You end up,
It's time for Mother Licking Funkler
There
Nuggets!
So, I did a couple of cool things. I'll talk about one specifically. Did the Indian Friday night. Saw a movie called Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson. It's a sci-fi movie that is fucking really, really good. I don't watch movies. I don't watch new movies. I watch everything old, which I did actually watch Last Action Hero on VHS tape yesterday, and it was awesome. But no, went to the Indian. Saw that. It was excellent. Did the Curry Ford Pizza Bruno before going.
That's the best one.
The best. I mean, not even close. I haven't had Maitland yet. Anybody have Maitland yet?
No.
Yeah, he opened one in Maitland. The College Park one's disappointing. However, I do like it delivered to the house. It's a good, like if you just want a pizza, like a normal pizza, it's good. But there is nowhere like the Curry Ford Pizza Bruno. Like we had the tight socks, had meatballs, garlic knots, and the pesto pasta.
What are tight socks?
That's the name of the pizza. So it's pepperoni, a little bit of red sauce, smoked mozzarella, and then they do Emperor's, which is basically Caesar dressing, a little bit on top, and then add meatball. Unbelievable. It was great. And then highly recommend that movie, Mickey 17. If you like, I think you'd dig it. It's very philosophical. Trevor, I think you'd like it. So when it comes out, give it a chance.
I like
See
a
if
good
you
brain
dig it.
tickle.
It is, and it's absurd. So it's not like, I don't watch anything that takes itself too seriously. Like, and we were talking about that on the way back because Mark Ruffalo's in it, and he's fantastic. And I always liked Mark Ruffalo because he doesn't seem to take himself very seriously. Like he acts in Poor Things, the movie with Emma Stone, he clearly is not taking himself very seriously. And that's the difference I can draw with him and somebody like Christian Bale. Other than American Psycho, I can't watch anything with Christian Bale because he takes himself so fucking seriously. I can't stand it. Brad Pitt does not take himself seriously. I love watching anything he's in because he's just fucking, he's just a dude bro hanging out. McConaughey is 50-50. Sometimes McConaughey's taking himself pretty fucking seriously. Sometimes he's not. Sometimes he's acting like a maniac and it's great. So anyway, all that digression aside, love the Indian. Highly recommend that if you think you may start going more and you think maybe I'll go more than 2 or 3 times, get a membership. That way you can reserve a table. And you don't have to stand in line. You just fucking walk up. They have a table with your name on it. You get free popcorn.
How much is a membership?
$250 for the lowest level per year.
Yeah.
Have
you ever had issues reserving a table with your membership?
So
is it a fast?
It's all online.
Mad dash.
It's all online. It is difficult for the cult classics. Cult classics they do once a month. They do like a really cool 35 millimeter. Like they do Back to the Future or fucking, during Christmas time, they'll do Scrooged. Those are tough because people book it fast. But I mean, we decided to go on Thursday and we went on Friday and I just went online and you pick the table. They have a map. You pick the table and you fucking send it in. They send you an email. They go, yep, you're good. You give them like a rating of 3 tables that you want. Never really had a problem with it. And I may up it next time. To a little bit bigger reservation for ease of, or a bigger donation for ease of reservation because it's so great. I stress out about that weird shit. I'm so stressed out when we're going to fucking movies where I'm like, how many people are in front of us? Where are we going to get a fucking terrible seat? Am I going to be next to a stupid kid? Like, what? Like somebody who's going to be coughing? Like it's fucking gross. Like that shit stresses me the fuck out. Like those small decisions. And something like
somebody could float an air biscuit next to you.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, man. Ripping farts, man. Just ripping farts. But I like at the Indian, it's none of that. You make your reservation. You just go out to the bar where we have a Dog Island, which is the excellent drink I highly recommend, and then cruise on in. It's a fucking good time. So that was my Funkler Nugget. What you got, PR?
So the weather at this time of the year is the best, I think, that we get. We so well spoiled.
We've had a couple of days that are just unbelievable.
Fabulous, right?
Yeah.
So my wife decided to venture out to Winter Park on Friday, and she and I walked from here to Park Avenue. We weren't quite sure what we were going to do. We walked past the wine room. We thought, we haven't done this for a while. There was a table outside.
Ah,
So
very nice.
we sat outside at about 2:30 on a Friday afternoon.
Dude,
How amazing was that?
living the fucking dream, man. That's great.
It was just outstanding. And I found, the wine at the wine room, the prices of a bottle of wine at the wine room is just amazing. Really, best prices for a bottle of wine, outstanding. And they have an incredible selection of wine as well. I haven't done this for probably, 6 months. And I got a really good bottle of South African wine, which the price I knew was just robbery. And yeah, we sat down. What I didn't know, I'm not sure whether you guys know this. Trevor has done this a few times with me, but did you know that they have like a full cheese menu? God. Just an incredible
Shot time for everybody. Charcuterie's coming, bro.
Did I say no? It was just cheeses though. It was cheeses from Holland, France, Italy. I mean, they had by countries.
All we need is the North Pole story, and he's
So,
hit every
I'm
fucking
not even
PR
there.
thing.
No.
He's gonna have to chug an entire bottle of Jaeger to cover this.
Listen, I didn't know that they had this, and so I really spoiled myself on Friday with just having
Dude, that sounds awesome,
incredible
man.
bottle
That
of
sounds
wine
great.
outside on the sidewalk, looking over Park Avenue, with the best weather, with an incredible cheese platter. God,
Great, man. What about
Really?
you? Well, you got your retreat.
Yeah.
You talked about it, I guess.
Yeah, already hit on that. In keto, working out, going to bed at 8, getting up at 3.
Still got the purple pea?
No, and I'll tell you. So when this is my first experience doing it. When you drop into ketosis, your body is learning how to switch from carbs to fat, and it's confused, and so you dump a bunch of ketones, and then after you settle into ketosis, the P strip changes because your body's adequately burning the fat. So it's the only way to now tell if I'm I know that I'm in it because I'm monitoring calories, macros, but the only way to really monitor is if I get similar to like a diabetic pinprick, finger
insulin,
prick, and I don't want to fucking prick my fingers and shit. I think that's stupid.
The only thing I started doing, actually strictly trying to intake water.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the fucking WebMD says my age, I'm supposed to do 124 ounces of water a day.
Yeah.
That's fucking insanity.
I'm doing right now. I'm over 200. I think I'm at like 220, 230.
God damn, dude. How did you just sit through this whole fucking episode
You see
without
all my
taking
drinks
a pee?
right here?
Without pissing, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I've noticed since, and I'm not at 124, but I am over 100 ounces every day for like the last 2 weeks, and all I do is fucking piss.
So
all the time.
What I did, I started to pay attention to water intake based on what I'm attempting to do with my body, and I was slamming fucking water and still dehydrated. What happens for most people is you start drinking water and you just end up pissing it through. I started adding salt and electrolytes to everything, which water retention, it transfers over to muscle cells and makes your body plumper. But yeah, I don't have to piss.
We have
as
a bunch of
much.
that because of Linda's marathon training. We have a bunch of like electrolyte tablets and stuff like that. And I do notice like I get like twitches and shit if I'm starting to run low. So I'll do electrolyte pouch or something.
I have to say the deficit in this is I'm doing electrolytes all day. My body fucking unloads at night, and I'm getting up and pissing like 3 or 4 times, and it's a pain in the ass. But I mean, at least I'm cycling, and I know I'm doing right with water.
Rock and roll.
Because that's
I think it's Ed.
It's go time.
There you go.
Well, be the strange you wish to see in the world, and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
See you in the promised land, baby.